right, everybody, I want you to focus on what's going on in the southeast, specifically the panhandle of Florida, NEXRAD radar tower, and also the one in the Carolinas. We've seen this type of beam before, and we've seen it tend to block weather. And I believe that is what's going on with this big weather system that is now drenching severe droughted areas of southern Florida. And it's not just that, my friends. These radar have been going nuts leading up to and after this has already began. And I want you to think to yourself, what are the chances that a storm of this size finally hits that area as soon as those Russian warships were making their way down into Cuba and now in the Bahamas? It is my opinion that this stuff is very much connected, and we could be seeing some weather manipulation because of it. Take a listen to this. Welcome back, June 12th, 2024. If you haven't thought about this already, I think it's kind of weird, even though I know it's hurricane season, but still, I find it extremely odd that out of nowhere, many parts of Florida, as you could see here, that were in a severe drought, basically begging for water, are now getting 10 plus, in some places 15, 20 inches of rain right now, including tons of counties. Miami-Dade and Broward counties are under flash flood emergencies right now as we speak. Above that is Sarasota. Just a crazy weather event going on in southern Florida. Basically from the mid-half down is completely saturated, but the start of this storm really took place as soon as we started hearing about those Russian warships beginning their drills. I know they've been there for some time, but they began those drills recently after making their way through international waters to Cuba, specifically Havana. And a lot of those drills are now taking place in the Bahamas and all this area that's completely covered now by any sort of satellite that you and I could look at. I mean, look at it. Anybody in the public, at least, that might want to look at these satellites would not see a thing. And this has been a wild situation going on with these Russian forces down in the Cuba area, specifically in Havana, and they're also drilling in the Bahamas, as I said. So again, for those of you that follow me and are very into the weather modification part of what I do, then think about this for a second. Do you think that this storm possibly could have been more enhanced in order to specifically block satellite viewing of this area? I mean, we have tons of websites we can use to where we could actually get close enough to actually see if they're blowing things up down there or explosions in the water. We saw it off the coast of Florida when they did those experimental explosions I did those videos on earlier today, where it's very odd on its own that those ships traveled right through that area to get to where they are, both in Cuba and now in the Bahamas. So just a thought that I'm throwing out there, it's kind of odd that all of a sudden now all this water and moisture and flooding is going on in these areas of Florida that needed it really bad, but it's happening at the same exact time all of these military operations are going on in Cuba, the Bahamas, and very close to where we live here in the United States. At this point, anything's possible. We could be creating this ourselves to give them a hard time in their drilling operations, but it's hard to deny what's going on these satellite feeds and the NEXRAD radar. They were clearly going nuts and showing those blocking type beams we've seen in the past, forcing that storm further south and keeping it there. That's another thing interesting about this, is that it is also affecting Cuba. So this whole area is being blocked up by clouds and storms. All right, my friends, take that for what it's worth. I'm going to look more into this, of course, but let me know what you think down below. I'll talk to you all soon. Take care. Bye-bye. Stop right there, my friends. If you have not already, click that subscribe button and don't forget to hit the bell icon. Click all and you will get all notifications from this channel. And trust me, you won't be disappointed.